Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Lair, the live edition. Happy Monday, happy good morning. It's still morning over here in the East Coast, 11 a.m. And today I just want to do a quick and simple project. The Pi Girl I'm making good progress on the Pi Girl 0. This is it. I'll talk more about it in the next episode, but this one is a little bit different. Just getting the PCBs made from Oshpark, so that's exciting. And we'll revisit that. Just a couple minor tweaks we'll do in the next few days while we wait for the PCB. But today we're actually going to make a simple enclosure for the Adafruit Feather HUZZAH ESP8266 board. This is it here. And it's just going to be the board, a 1200 milliamp battery, and a slide switch. We're just going to make a little enclosure in Fusion 360. And I just wanted to show you guys how, not to make the components, but how to get the components in, stack them on top of each other, and orient them in the way where it makes sense for an enclosure. So we'll take a look at the screen here and just show you, again, the board. This is the board. And if you ever need to get dimensions and things, they're right here in the technical drawings. But if you click on the Learn site and go to the Downloads page, you can see the schematic here. Most of the time there's a link to download the EagleCAD schematic and board file, which I have here. And what I've done is all I've done was I didn't draw these out. This is actually already drawn. But what I did do is I just changed the dimensions from inches to millimeters. So you can do that by clicking on a dimension using the properties info tool, and then changing the unit from inches to millimeters. And that's basically all I did. And I added maybe one or two here, like the radius for the fillet here on the edges of the board, and that's pretty much it. Everything else was nicely done for me, so that's awesome. And what I've gone ahead and done in the morning was design the board in Fusion 360. So just a simple layout for the board, the battery, and the switch. And what I want to do is just bring all those things together into one file. So I'll make a new design here. Let's call it the enclosure. This will be HUZZAH enclosure. I can spell it right. And then I'll import everything in. Wait for that to finish saving in the sidebar here, in the little data panel. This is going to be an Internet of Things project that Tony came up with, and we'll talk more about it, what it actually does in the coming weeks or days, I think. So let's go ahead and insert it by right-clicking and insert into current design. And that'll insert it there. I'll just hit OK for now. And then I'll bring in the battery. And then the switch. Let's move this up a little bit. Since I want standoffs on the bottom, I'm just going to move it up. Something like that. And then the switch. Always important to have a switch. And I will probably put it somewhere over here. I'll orient it in the right way. Probably, clicking on the wrong thing. Probably this way. And out over here. Something like that. We're just kind of pulling it in here and there. It looks like I have a what do you call it? A construction line turned on, so I want to turn that off because it's kind of in my way. See, notice when you import stuff, it says you can't change the visibility of it. So you actually have to go into the component and then turn it off from there. Which is kind of a pain. I honestly wish you could just do it from within there, but I don't know. There's reasons. I'll just turn it off. Hit save in that, and then when I go back, it's going to give me an error and say, hey, this component is out of date. So what I do here is I can right-click and say, get all latest, and this will just refresh all the components to make sure everything's up to date. So there it is. Okay, so since the biggest thing is the battery, I'm going to try to make it in the middle of the feather board. So I'll just click on this and move it using the move tool, and just kind of move it here. I think is fine. And I'll probably push it back a bit since the USB port is over there. I want to have it close to the edge so that I can have a hole for the USB port. Okay, now I got to mess with the slide switch to find a good spot for it. I'm thinking let's just make it more on the edge over here. Let me go home. top, rotate. Okay. Something like over here. I think that's a good spot. Let's see if I can move it up. See if I can get it straight on there. Sometimes you gotta zoom in more to get by 0.10 of a millimeter when you're dragging stuff. Okay, looks okay. What I'll do now is just capture position, and what that does is it makes it so that it saves the state, the position of all the stuff, of all the components. Okay, and then I'll do a quick save here. Let's say added components, and then I'll start drawing out a box for the enclosure. Yep, just making sure my screen is active. Okay. So what I'll do is next I'm going to draw the sketch out using the rectangle tool, and I'll draw it on this flat plane here on the bottom. And then what I'll do is I'm not going to add any dimensions. I'm just going to figure out a sort of a rough estimate of the shape. So I'll just click, and then you'll see if you don't tab or you don't hit enter, you'll have some degrees of freedom. So when I move this around, I can move it without any dimensions being in the way, or like restraining it, constraining it. So okay, that's looking okay. Hit stop, and I'll start to extrude this guy. Since it's flat on there, I'll have to extrude down and up. So I'll hit E on my keyboard, and then I'm in the extrude command. I'll change the direction to two-sided so I can extrude it from this side and this side. And since I can modify everything, I'm just going to hit OK, since I can always double click on this and modify that later. And what I'll do is I'm going to add a I'm going to change the appearance so I can see through it. So to do that, I'll just right click anywhere in the canvas and click physical material, and then I'll click on glass, and then I'll just drag and drop glass onto there so I can see through it. I'll hit close. Okie dokie. So what I want to do is, now I can't see through it. Let me see if I can. I want to be able to see through it while I modify this setting here. Maybe I can bring back, no, I don't think I can. Can't bring back the appearance thing. Alright, well, I know I gotta come up a little bit more this way, because I don't need to be that thick. And I'll go ahead and add some fillets to the edges here. A better way to do it would be to hit cancel, fillet, the hotkey is F, and I'll just drag a marquee so I can select all 4 of them. And I'll do something like 3, maybe 4. Yeah, that's fine. And then I'll do some here. Oops, I'll do another fillet for the top and bottom. Maybe 2. Okay. So now we can start modifying the sketch here, the case, to bring it closer, because we don't need it to be so big. So I'm going to try to make it as sort of short as possible, or close as possible. And when you click and drag like this, of course you can modify it that way, but unfortunately it's not snapping. So to get it to snap, you go in the edit mode, so just double click on the sketch, and then you can move it in a bit more. Maybe over here, and then over here a bit. And what I'm not accounting for yet is the thickness of the actual enclosure. So what I'll do now is I'm going to cut it in half and then create a shell on both sides, so I can get a better idea of the thickness, to accommodate for the thickness of the enclosure. So to do that, I'll need to get the middle. I need to make a construction plane to get in the middle of this, because I want to cut it exactly in half. So to do that, there's a tool called midplane, and when you select 2 surfaces, it'll figure out what the middle plane of that is and create a plane, construction plane. So I'll click on the top here and the bottom, and it makes it there. So I can use this as a reference to cut stuff. So to cut stuff, I can use the split body function under modify. So I'll click on that, and then I'll switch from body to split to the splitting tool, and I'll just click on that mid plane that we made. And it gives you a little example of it, and it just cuts the body, not all the components. So hit OK. Alrighty, so that's split, and if I go to the bodies, you see I have two bodies now. So this one's bottom, this one's top. Yep. Click. Whoa. I'm editing the sketch. So it's not top. And let me hide the components for a bit so I can get in there. And I'll hide the construction folder. Now what I'll do is I'll make a sketch. So I'll click on this surface here. Or not a sketch, I'll make a shell. So just click on the shell button. And I'll set it to 1.4 millimeters. And I'll do the same thing for this guy here. And shell 1.4. Hit OK. Alright, so now we have two shelled enclosure things, cases. Now I'm going to bring back the components just by shift selecting them in the browser and then just showing them. Alright, so let's take a look and see if anything is intersecting with it. I think it's pretty fine. To get a better look inside, we can do a cross section. So under inspect, there's a tool called section analysis. You just click on a surface, and then you can drag the manipulator around to get a cross section of the whole assembly. So you can see I don't have anything too bad. I don't have anything that looks like it's intersecting. So I think there's enough room. And the main things I want to have is obviously a hole for the slide switch, a hole for the USB port, and probably a hole for some wires to come out of this, because this is going to hook into some other components. So I'll probably have the wires out here, and I'm going to get to metal this. So to do that, I'll do another mid construction plane. So I'll go to mid plane, click on that guy and that one, and it's giving me a warning saying, hey, you need to turn on your folder because you hit it. So there you go. So let's say I wanted to get the slide switch right in the middle. I can reference that now. So let me hide a couple things. I'll hide the sketch here. Wait, no. What sketch is this? Oh, this is some new sketch that was made for some reason, like when I was clicking around. Delete that. I don't need it. And this plane, I can hide that. And what I'll do is I'll click on the slide switch, hit the move tool, and then try to line it up as best as I can here. See if I can get closer. Maybe 3.5. Yeah, looks pretty good. Alright. Pretty close. Now what I want to do is I kind of want to have this recessed inside. So again, I'll move it inwards. So click on slide switch, hit move, bring it in. I want to have it protrude just a teeny bit. Maybe like that much is fine. Okay, so I got my components just about where I want. And this is important to have. See this big block here? That one. This guy here is the JST port. It's always important to have a little bit of extra room here, because that's where the battery, the JST port for the battery is going to be in here. So I have enough room for it, I think. And have enough edges. Yeah, I have enough wriggle room and stuff, so I don't want it to be too tight. So I think it's pretty good. Okay. Now let's take a look at another section. Let's make a new one over here. Yeah, that looks good. I want to see how close I am. How close I am on the USB port. Looks pretty good. I don't want it to be right up against it, because then I'll run into some issues when I make these standoffs. But yeah, I think it's good. I'm not sure what the distance is from here to there. I think it's like 2 or so. We'll see in a minute. Okay. And then I'll turn this off. Let's do a quick save. Need case. Now the next thing I want to do is I can probably start making the some standoffs for this guy. I don't want to use any screws in this, so I'm just going to make like standoffs with pegs. And to do that, I will hide these guys here, and then I'll sketch a new, well, let me capture position real quick. Okay, so capture the position right there, and I'm going to make a sketch on top of this surface here, on the bottom of the feather, so I can make those standoffs. So what I'll do is I'll just click on the circle tool, click on that guy, it'll project it for me, and then when I hover in the center of a circle, it'll give me a little circle saying that that's the center of that circle. So what I'll do is I'll make a 6mm standoff there, and here as well. So just hit C to get the circle tool, 6, enter, and I'll do the same for these two. Okay. Now I'll have to see how it cuts that right there. When I hover over, if I try to extrude, I'll have to like extrude both of these guys. To avoid that, I can just select these guys here, and then hit X to make it a construction plane. So now it's now I won't cut that, and I have to do that for this as well. These guys over here. So now when I make it a construction plane, it's still there, but it's not intersecting my lines here, intersecting my my sketches, my circle sketches, and then probably over here too. Okay, and then they're dotted lines to give you the indicator that, hey, this is a construction line. Okay, cool. And these are already here, so I can select these guys to be like the pegs and stuff. What I'll do here is actually offset it a bit so that they're not exactly the same size, and I'll just put like -0.1, and then I'll make a construction plane too, so that I don't have to worry about zooming in all the way and like selecting it. So I'll do the same thing, offset here. Okay, I like how the offset is it like remembers like the last value, so I don't have to like put it in all the time. I think it's O on my keyboard. O. Okay. Click on that. X. That's up closer to click on that. Okay. And then X. Alright, I think that's all good. Yep, it's looking good. Okay, I'll hit stop sketch now, and I will rename the sketch to Feather Standoffs, so I know later. I'll go ahead and select these. Is it eight things? Okay. And then I'll start extruding them downwards. And then I'll bring back the bottom case. And then I'll change the operation to join. And then what I'll do is instead of, here, let me hide the battery so I can look inside the case. Now if I click extents and go to, it'll dynamic, and then I click on the bottom surface of the case like that, it'll just go to it, and that's great because then if I ever update the thickness or the height of the closure, it'll remember to update that. And now what I can do is, now that I have standoffs, I need to extrude those pegs up a bit. So I'll hide the feather for a second, bring back the sketch, hit E on my keyboard, and just extrude these guys out. And I'll probably make it like 2mm. So it's just a little bit over the 1.6 thickness of the board. Like that. Okay, cool. And again, they're offsetted a little bit of the mounting hole, so that they should, if there's any expansion of the PLA when it's printing, it'll it'll match up nicely. So I can hide that now. Okay. The what I'm noticing here is the clearance for the edge of the board here to the edge of the slide switch. We'll just cut the lead short, you know, because the leads are a little bit. Hopefully we can get this. Hello, hello. Sorry about that, guys. I think I'm back. Had some issues with the internet. The router just shut itself down for whatever reason. It likes to do that sometimes. And I think we're back. So if you guys, let me do a test. Is the stream okay?
Just adjust your exposure on.
Yeah, I did. It's just a little laggy, I think. All right, well, we're back. It took like 5 minutes. Not too bad. But I think we're back. Yeah, let's go back to the CAD stuff. Didn't do much because I noticed it right away because my Fusion is cloud-based, so the data panel switched from online to offline mode, and it's like, whoa, what's going on here? The stream must have went down. So we're back. I haven't done much. The last thing we did was we made some standoffs for the featherboard. And I guess we can continue on now. It's pretty low to the ground. It's like low riding. But, you know, there really aren't any components on the bottom. It's nice and flat, so I think the distance is fine. It's just a teeny bit. So it'll be nice and thin, if anything. So, okay, let's move on to making a hole for the USB port. Like that. Okay, so to do that, I'm just going to project a sketch over here on that guy. So I'll just click on my rectangle tool and just click on that edge there. And then I'll probably just draw a line here. A little. What's the, I think 3? Yeah. 3 or 2.8? 2.8. Oh, 2.9. 3. Wow. Let me close that out. What I'm trying to do is just get a standard rectangle. And for whatever reason it was like not matching up, but now it is. Okay. Cool. And then I can do an offset here, which will be, oh wow, it's not selecting that up there. I'm having a little problem here. That's fine. Let's when I made the thing, I must have got confused or something. So if I try to do an offset, you'll see it doesn't make a complete loop, even though the loop select is on. I've had this happen maybe once or twice, and I forget how I alleviated it. So I'm gonna just try it again. If I offset this guy, it'll have that bottom corner here, because that's how the USB port is. But maybe that's fine. I'll do 0.5. Hit stop sketch. And then I'll use this to cut a hole through the, I think the bottom? Yeah, the bottom. So let's go ahead and select these two. Hit extrude and just pull it out. Bring back the bottom. And I'll change the distance from distance to 2, the extents. I'll hit OK. So that way if I ever increase it, yeah, I think that'll be fine. Cool. Okay. Now I need a hole for the switch, the slide switch. And to do that, it's pretty much the same thing. So I'll hide this here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make 2 projections here. So I'm going to project that. I think that's already been, this line here has already been projected for me. But if not, I'll select it here like that. Okay. So what I'll do Let me go back in. Let me start naming these guys real quick. This is USB cut. This is a switch cut. Okay, I want to make an offset here. So I'll go in the edit mode, click on the offset button, offset it by 0.2 on the out, and this one, this is the same thing. It's doing it again. Why? Now let me click this way. No, I can't delete it. Okay, let me try to draw that again. Being all weird now. Per thing. That's super weird. We're just gonna leave it, and then I'll create an offset after the fact. It's a mucky way to do it, but oh well. And what I like to do though is probably make another offset here for a little guard thing. I'll show you what I mean here in a minute. What it'll do is it'll just be like a little holder for the slide switch. It's not just the edge of the case that's holding it in place. It'll actually be this little thing here. So I'll put 1.2 because that's the thickness I want it to be, with the 0.2 being that 0.2 offset that we had. So okay, that's working. Let's stop now. And then the hole's just going to be this here. So we'll only access that little switch and not the whole body of the switch. So I'll bring back this guy here. Extrude that piece out. Let's change the extents to this guy here. Okay, so you can see there that now you only have access to that, but I need to make an offset here so that you can have a little bit of room to get your finger in there. So I'll just have to make another sketch here. So let's do that. I'll draw it on the surface of this guy instead though, and now I should be able to do an offset here. Maybe I think 0.4 looks good. Okay, stop, and then I'll cut back inwards, and then I'll get some of the components out of the way, get out of my way. There you go. Change the extents from distance to 2 again, and click on that this time. Hit OK. So, you know, that's one workaround. What I don't like about it, you know, it made a new sketch, but whatever. Switch cut 2. Sometimes just gotta keep working with it. And what I want to do is make that holder to hold this guy in place, because right now it's just like floating. And it's a little bit of overhang, but it actually performs pretty well. I've printed this type of feature many times, so I know it works well with all sorts of printers. Mainly ones with an active cooling fan, but yeah, all of them do these days. So let's bring back this guy. Just select that edge piece, and then bring it out like that. And 4 I think is a good number here. Hit OK. And what you'll notice is that I have this little room here. So what I should do is start moving the switch down a bit. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back in time in my timeline and move it down a bit, probably by 0.2 or half a millimeter. So to do that, I'll go back here. Actually, I don't have to do that. I can just double click on that, hit modify, and then click on the switch, and just move it down by I think 0.5. I think that should do it. Hit OK. Hit finish capture, and you can see here it should have merged it. So I'll double click on this extrude and click on join, because it's a new body right now. So when I hit join, it'll know to stop it here, to stop it. Now it's flat on the edge, and that's looking pretty good. Now the yeah, it's gonna be pretty close, the slide switch. I think that's fine. Okay, I'm gonna do that. Yeah, you see that right there? Looks like there's a problem. There's a gap, so it's not actually touching that. So let's go back to that extrude and see what's going on here. So it looks like I need to put two-sided on and then just pull this out over here. Hit OK. Okay, so now there's no gap. Okay, cool. All right, and you can see why, because it's there's a little bit of clearance there, which is fine. All right, I'm happy with that. Again, I know there's an overhang, but it actually performs pretty well on most printers with an active cooling fan. I think that's gonna be it. Oh yeah, I need a hole for wires, so let's bring back everything. Just get a last glance of here. Oh, and of course I need to make like a lip thing so this connects together. Hopefully there's enough room. I'll make the lip probably on the bottom here, but I'll go over that after I make the cut. Let's make the wire like right there. So let's figure out where the center is. I'll just make some lines here. So I just made some lines using the line tool, and I'm going to turn these into construction lines so that I know where my center point of this whole sketch is. And I'll use the rectangle tool, R, and then I'll change the rectangle type to center rectangle so I can click in the center and bring that out. That looks fine. 3.5 by 10. Yeah, okay. Let's make it 4. Yeah. Actually, what I want to do is I want to make it so that you can, since this is 2 pieces, like if I leave this like that, you actually have to thread the wires through, and then you won't be able to pull them out again unless you unsolder them, which could be a problem. So what I'll do is I'll need to sort of redraw it a little bit. Here, let's just do this. Let's go back into the edit of that sketch. Now I can't move it because it's in the center here. So if I delete this constraint, I should be able to move it. Yeah, so I can move it now. But what I'll do is I'll just use a collinear, which will say, hey, this guy should go over here. And then that just moves it up there. So okay. So now I'll use that sketch to cut this bottom piece. So let's hide the top. Oop, the top. Bring back the bottom. Get the battery out of the way. It's always in my way. And then extrude that way. Extents to that. Okay. Alright. So that's just a little opening for some wires to come out. And the pins are over here along the edge of the board and here. Not sure which pins are going to be, so they're just going to wire out that way. But again, that should make it kind of nice. And I don't know, I'll put a fillet here on these edge here. Why not? 1, maybe 2. Yeah, 2's fine. Okay, that looks kind of cool. Okay. Nice and simple enclosure. I think the last thing I'll do is make that lip, and I'll make it come out of this guy here. So do that. Get rid of the top. We're gonna we're gonna project this edge's sketch here. So I can click on it and click project, which is under sketch. It's under project include, or P. And then what I'll do is I will create an offset. Make it 1. So it's 1 millimeter thick. and I'll hit OK. And what I need to do is close this off, because if I extrude this, it's obviously going to extrude on the outside of the case, which isn't what we want. So I'll have to close them up using the line tool, which is fine. So I'll just come in here with the line tool, then close these off. I think that's the only part I need to do it. So hit stop sketch, hit E on my keyboard, extrude, and then I'll change the direction to 2 because I want it to go on 2 sides, and I'll probably make it 2 millimeters. Let me change it to symmetric, and then I'll change the operation to join. So okay, I'll hit OK. There's my lip, and actually what I want to do is create an offset for this guy so that it's not exact, because sometimes it doesn't fit on the other part, so I'll have to modify my sketch again. And I'll add a chamfer to this edge here, because you can see there's an overhang. Let me turn on the section analysis. You can see there's an overhang. Not that one, maybe this one. Yeah, there's an overhang there. You can see that there, and it's starting to, it cuts into the little holder for the slide switch. I think it's fine, but we'll deal with that in a minute. But for now, let's make that that offset. So it's this one. Yeah, what was this? This is going to be wire hole, wire cut. And this one is case lip, case clip, case lip. Alright. So to do the offset, we need to make it in here. So I'll click on offset, click on, I'm not in edit sketch mode, so let me go in there. And I already have an offset, so I'm actually going to put 1.2 to accommodate for that new offset that we're going to do. It'll be over here. 0.2. Okay. So that's going to be our new. Well, actually, I'm just going to use this here to cut away from what we already have. I'll show you in a sec here what I mean. Oh wow, the extrude here is all messed up, so I have to select the right profile. Oh, I see. I have to move these guys. Those little line cuts that we made to intersect the lip. Okay. Let's go back in there, and then just drag this out like that. So now it cuts that. I didn't cut it. Let's delete that and then redraw it. For whatever reason, it's not cutting that because it's a new offset. That's why. So I'll delete that and then redraw it. Should be simple enough. It is not cutting it still. Really? Yes. Okay. Well. What about this one? Maybe that's why it's not cutting it. Yeah, that was why. Because it's like still. Okay, cool. Well, that's fine. Because there's two of them, you know. So now it'll cut it. Okay. So hit stop. And then we need to update our extrude because it's like just picking what it thinks is best. So let me just deselect all the profiles and then click on that one. And really, is this one messed up too? Oh man, we gotta fix this one too. Is this one fixed? Yeah, it's fixed. Okay. Okay, so now we can fix our extrude, kill the profiles, select these two. Oh man. I'm holding down option to kind of get rid of the body for me, and I'll hit OK. And now what I'll do is I'll extrude again, but this time it's going to be, I have to hide it. Can't get down there. It'll just be this little offset here. Bring it back. Where's my... There it is. Let's say distance to the top of this guy. Yep. Okay. So now that just created a cutaway 0.2 millimeters off the lip. And that's very important, because watch when I bring back the top case and then put a section analysis. Maybe this one, it's better. You'll see there's a tiny bit of clearance, and that's very important, because if you don't have that, you know, and when you 3D print the case, it's going to be too tight of a fit, and it just won't fit. And you can see I have a little bit of, no, that's fine. That's where I wanted the hole to be. Alright, so let's go ahead and add that chamfer to the bottom here. So I have to add it a couple different places. So I'll click on chamfer, click on that edge. I think it needs to be, is it 1 fine? I think 1 is fine. I have to click on this one too. It should be 1.2 then. Okay. Let's click over here then. Okay, 1.2. And then select this one as well. And then let's turn off the section analysis. That should carry all the way through. Let's get rid of top. Yep, my chamfer is going all the way through. Cool. Hit OK. All right, that way the overhang is dealt with by just printing that chamfer. Okay, I think that's it. Simple enclosure. A little bit of live streaming problems, but I think that's fine. Things take a minute when they need to be simple, you know. So added case lip and holes. I forget. We've done a lot, so I don't remember what we did, but those are the main two things. I'm gonna go ahead and export these and probably print it out on the printer bot, and then I'll take some questions while I set up the print. So let's go to printer bot. Yes, reconnect. My Astrobox went down when the internet went down. At first for everything. It's not restarting now. Now we have a new problem. Let's see how we can fix this one. Usually if I unplug the Wi-Fi dongle from the Pi, it works. So let me see if I can do that. Yep. Little green light flashing. Something's happening. Oh, cool. I was going to SSH into it, but nope, it's back. Give it a second here to Autoconnect, all that good stuff. Control, there it is. It's taking a minute. I just homed it and nothing happened, so I might need to disconnect and reconnect. I am receiving stuff. There it goes. It just took a second to kick in. Now let's just go ahead and preheat. It takes a minute. I like to use 220, so that's set. That's going to heat up, and I'll launch Simplify 3D, which is my slicer of choice. And I need to export those STLs, so let's delete that and go back in here. Save as. This is what, the bottom. I have a folder here already set up, I think. IoT HUZZAH. Let's call it STLs. This is going to be HUZZAH bottom case. Case bottom. What's going on? You can't copy and paste? Nope, guess not. Alright. Let's save this one. And just top, and we'll orient them correctly in the slicer. So let's go there. Let's add. What should we print first, the top or the bottom? It really doesn't matter. Probably the top. And then I'll click Command L, which lets me select any face, and it'll flip it to that. There's nothing here. It's just let's not do that one. Let's do the bottom. Quick look. Yeah, the bottom. Okay, that looks cool. And it fits on the printer bot. Play. Good. Let's take a look at my settings. Hopefully everything's fine. Retraction's kind of low. I don't know why that's 0.5. It should be like 1. And why is there a vertical lift? Uh-oh. Some of my settings got messed up. That's weird. That's cool. It gives me a chance to sort of go through them all here. Let's click auto. Or actually, no. I like it at 0.42. I'll show you why in a second here. Layer. That's fine. I like to have the top 4 and bottom 4. It's all good. Additions, there's this little skirt. Infill. I like to use 20. 25 is good infill overlap. I don't need any supports. What is the last thing I printed on here? That's so strange. 220 is fine. Cooling is fine. And the second layer it turns on the active cooling fan. I don't have my lovely purge script for starting strip. I'm gonna do a video about that soon. Start script. I don't have them here, but it's fine. It'll just. I'll just have to purge before anything. Okay, the speeds are a little slow. Let's bring that up to 60, and then 90 on the movement for the X and Y, and then I think that's fine for the Z. The gap, I like to make that 35, sometimes 50, but let's see what it looks like when I generate the Gcode. Let's take a look here. You can see the toolpath for the edge is just three perimeters, which is nice. That's why I put it on 0.42. What else happened?
Yeah, not you're good.
Okay.
I'm here for questions.
Okay, cool. Pedro is joining us here.
Some questions lined up here. Ask your questions right now.
Ask your questions, since I'm going to kick off the print very soon. Yeah. I'm going to change the perimeter gap to 50. That's like the highest it can go. It didn't affect it here. What I wanted to do is like make this lip a little bit thicker than just 2 parameters. It's like hollow. So what I'll do is I'll just change the extrusion width back to manual or auto. Oh man, it's not doing it. I could make it a little bit thicker in the CAD. Debating whether or not I should or not. Let's give it a try. I mean, we're gonna prototype it anyway. It's just prototype. It's the first time. I'll switch back. A lot of the time is just like figuring out how do I get my settings nice. You know. Cool. Okay. Play. Any questions?
Yeah, so this is my first name. Bounce is asking, which printer bot model is that?
Yeah, it's the printer bot Play. I think they only have one Play model, right?
Yeah.
It's the white one. I think it's pretty current.
It's the stock model, so it doesn't have any of the XY like updates on it.
What's the XY updates?
They have the ability to like make it taller. And
oh, okay, cool. Yeah, and it's stock. Builds.
No worries. Just joined in.
Yeah, we're gonna fire off the print. What we did was just made a simple case, a simple quote unquote case for the Adafruit Feather ESP8266, a battery, a 1200 milliamp battery, and a slide switch. It's gonna be for a super top secret Internet of Things project that Tony DeCola came up with, and you guys will see that in the coming weeks, I think.
may or may not have to do with April 1st.
April 1st. Uh-oh. There's a yeah. Isn't that the Apple thing?
No, that's today.
No. It's when Apple was founded on April 1st. Remember? It's an April Fool's thing. All right. Well, let's go ahead and kick off this this print. Any questions?
Yeah. So, Umberto is asking, is there any free versions of Fusion 360?
Absolutely. We have a special download link that'll put after the stream is, but you can just go to Fusion 360, type it in Google, and you can download it for free. Just sign up for a free account for the Autodesk website, and yeah, it's free. It's free for a year license, and then after that you can just renew it, and yeah, there's an educational thing, and they only charge you if you make over $100,000 for work.
For commercial purposes.
Commercial purposes, yeah. Everything else is educational. Like us, we don't commercially sell these designs, so we're allowed to do it for free. It's open source. I'm gonna extrude real quick.
Someone's asking, what do we think of the new Raspberry Pi?
Of course, it's a great thing. It brought the price down for the V Plus, and it's like $12 now. It's awesome. We have a lot of projects planned for the Pi 3. It gets hot, but not a lot. It does get hot, but only when you have like all 3 cores running or 4 cores running at 100%, which I'm not sure why you would do that or when you would do that, but I don't know. Mounting holes are exactly the same. We may or may not have to, worry about heat and heat sinking, so not there yet. I haven't done any Raspberry Pi 3 projects yet, but we will soon.
Okay, Jenny's asking, are we going to add analog sticks to the design? To the
which design?
To the
Super Pi?
No, to the little mini micro.
Oh, no, I don't think so. I think the DPad is going to be fine. All right, let's kick this print off.
It would increase the size of it, wouldn't it?
It would increase it in thickness, I think, a little bit more. Yeah.
Arsenic is asking, how does the printer bot play compared to the Duplicator i3? They seem to be in the same price range.
The Duplicator i3? I think the Duplicator i3 is definitely a good option. Wow. It's got to have a bigger bed. It's kind of like a Rep 2 clone, right? Duplicator i3. Yeah, there it is. Oop, i3. I think I was looking at this the other day. Yeah, it's from Wanhao. Oh, no. This is the i3, yeah.
So a lot of people have been saying that it's pretty good.
Yeah, there's so many great reviews on it already. Yeah.
If you had a choice between the two, probably the Duplicator, since it has a bigger bed. And it's heated, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's heated. Yeah, both very good options. Obviously, one has a bigger bed and has heat.
Yeah, this one does not have a heated bed. This one's only 100 by 90? By 100?
100 by 100 by 130. So a little bit tall. Yeah.
There's definitely more projects that are going to fit on the i3. Redo is asking, in the process of print, I saw you set parameters. Is there any documentation about this?
Set parameters?
Like best practices on how many parameters to use?
What do you mean? I still don't understand the question.
I think that's what he means. Is there any documentation on setting parameters?
I didn't really set any parameters. There's a specific parameter tool inside of Fusion. I'm not sure. Yeah, here it is. Change parameters. So this allows you to set a value and then a name. So I can say thickness and then make it like 0.2. And then whenever I make let's say I make the shell, I can just type in the word thickness and then hit OK. And then whenever I want to change the value of thickness, oh, it's not over there. It should have been. Really? No, it's on there. It's on Fusion. It'll do that. Go ahead and check out Tyler Steen's video on the Fusion 360 channel on YouTube. Yeah, I need to use this more. I really do, because I'm not using them. But that would be a good place to start. I usually just enter things in and just change it from here. which is okay. But if you're doing it a bunch of times, if you're doing a lot of the same parameter and you're planning on changing it, then yeah, changing parameter, setting a parameter is good. Yep. Any other questions?
How twitchy is the printer about play? Do you find it consistently printing well?
It is let's say like 85% always on target. The other day I had to offset it by 0.10, but it's pretty easy too. With the other print,
you mean the probe, right?
Yeah, the probe, the Z probe, yeah. Sometimes something will get knocked off and it gets offsetted by 0.1 millimeters. But it's easy to change it if you're using Autoprint.
Saying we have audio problems, static.
Yeah, that's probably staticky. Oh boy, there's always some problems. Here, let me turn off the mic and I'll come back in a minute. Mic test? Okay, it's good. Yeah, sometimes the mic likes to flake out on me. Let's take a look at the printer here. That one. Yeah. The light changed. I need to have dedicated light on the printer bot. So yeah, this print should take, what does it say, 52 minutes? Yeah. It's a little bit slower. I imagine you could go faster on something like the Duplicator i3. Probably like 90, 150 or so.
Someone's asking about the logo on your hat. Is it 3D printed?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is printed in NinjaFlex, but you can print it in PLA and warp it using hot water. We did a full video on it, so take a look at our YouTube channel playlist. Look for custom hat graphics, and they'll give you a whole spiel on. This was actually Becky's idea, and she made quite a few different ones, and it's sewed on there. But yeah, good example of good use of NinjaFlex. Yeah. Yep.
Now there is, could you do this in something like Blender?
Absolutely. Yeah, you could do this in Blender, any CAD app. Yeah, totally. I just like to use Fusion because I came from 123D, and Fusion is like the next step of it. It's like got the same core and just a lot more features. Tons of more features.
Yeah, so I don't know about Blender, but another reason too is because of the timeline, being able to go back and edit features that you did, like 20 steps before.
Yep.
So before 123D, we were using Maya to do everything, and when you did a Boolean, you had to make copies of everything before you moved forward.
Yeah.
Just in case you had to go back and edit something, it didn't have non-deconstructive editing.
Everything we did here is quote unquote a timeline, but everything, you can move things around. These are basically just a list of features that we've done. So every extrude, every shell, every fillet, you can refer back to it, double click on it, and then just change the feature after the fact. And you probably could do that in Blender, but I don't know. I gave Blender maybe like 30 minutes when I was doing that unicorn horn. I was trying to figure out how to use it there, but I didn't get too far with it. But there are tons of resources out on YouTube, so yeah, it's a good thing about it is it's open source and free, and there's just tons of tutorials on it. But everybody uses something different, I think. Let's go back here.
Okay, I think that's about it.
Alright guys, so we're gonna go to lunch since it's 12 now, and good hour stream. I was hoping it'd be a half hour, but because the internet went down, and the microphone and stuff, things happen.
Stay tuned on Thursday.
Yeah, there's actually gonna be some live streams later today.
Oh yeah. There's
so I think Tony DeCola is gonna do one.
Lamar will probably do one.
Lamar will do one later, and you're watching Adafruit TV on every 7 days a week.
Don't forget to pick up a kit.
Yeah.
That's how we are supported.
Yeah. If you guys are like, oh man, it's out of stock, go ahead and sign up. Sign up your email and stuff, and you'll get notified when the stuff is back in stock.
And don't forget to tune in on Wednesdays and Thursdays for 10% off discount code for almost anything in the Adafruit shop, except for software and gift certificates.
That's right. Every Wednesday and Thursday, guys. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Again, on the next one, I will talk more about the Pi Zero. This one right here. It's coming together. Waiting on some PCBs, and I can't wait for that. Very, very fun project. But all right, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one.
See you.
Bye.